Bright, bright sunshiny day. I can fucking sing too. It's not just you blokes. With that loaded up. And I'll tell you what, I think it's fair to say that we're just about on air, big fella. Righty-o! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
You're pumping it up.
Thursday night, dinner of Spin Doctors. And we're back, as always. Pretty consistent, I reckon.
We are.
Hey, how you going this week, Councillor?
Pretty good. I've had a good week and it's still continuing on. Everything's going pretty well. G'day everyone. My name's Anthony Irvine. I'm a councillor on Temora Shire Council, but none of the views I express here are those of Temora Shire Council. They're mine and mine alone. Over the course of the evening, I may refer to the Department of Planning, Housing and Infrastructure's free speech in local government guidelines, which I usually stick to. I try to stick to. And also the implied freedoms of political expression, because I am a candidate in the upcoming New South Wales state election. So
you are.
That's where I'm at.
You are. That's fantastic.
And
that's
how
fantastic.
About yourself?
Well, I'm not currently a candidate officially.
Free zone.
Yeah. Disclaimer free zone. I say exactly what I think when I think how I think. I answer to nobody in particular. Although the children seem to get a few votes on a few things and in that space. But no, I'm not owned by any organisation per se. And I'm certainly not beholden to any bullshit council guidelines or anything along those lines. So what I say is as accurate as I can put forward and or an opinion piece. And if I put forward any numbers, I will either be extremely specific with said numbers or I will say a roundabout, just to be very, very clear. And in the event that we ever do get anything wrong, we generally come out and we usually actually do a far longer spiel than you're going to get out of any other organisation in Australia, apologising and or correcting ourselves, because sometimes you do get it wrong, but we like to be really, really transparent one way or the other. So welcome everybody to another Thursday night of frivolity with certainly the premier media outlet and organisation in the Temora district, well and truly, the most credible, the most accurate and the most honest. So thank you for tuning in.
You'd have to say that. Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Well, look, there's a fairly big story, and I figured I'll just land on it straight away. I ran my eyes over the Hit Job Herald when I first walked in here this evening. My co-pilot here does still spend $2.50 on that piece of shit arguable newspaper each week. I'm fucked if I'm parting with any money for those people, but I had a bit of a look, ran my eyes over it. Still nothing in there about a $3.5 million deficit and realistically $4 million backwards trajectory for the Temora Shire Council. I would have thought that would have been the front page of the news. It's a pretty big story. We've gone from about 400 grand up to burn 3.5 million down to
it was actually more
don't say anything, it's a secret.
It was more than that. Now, believe it or not, I'm a bit surprised that the Temora Independent haven't picked this story up, because there's a media release.
A media? Is that new?
Fairly fresh.
Right.
It came out on the 11th of November. So here it is, media release, Temora Shire Council. Now this is for immediate dissemination, so it's public. It's on the public record. This is a media release. I'm not showing you anything.
It's not a secret officially.
Yes, it's not a secret. I won't get a code of conduct for divulging confidential information. Now, behind the numbers, council's financial story reflects strategic planning and external pressures.
Well, are we those external pressures or what?
Oh, well, but I don't know. Temora Shire Council's financial statements for 2025 tell a deeper story than just figures.
Oh.
On
so numbers don't lie. That's what my account
But they reflect the challenges, timing and strategic decisions that shape how services are delivered to our community. So regardless of what the figures say,
we've got a story.
We've got a story.
We have a story. Everybody's got a story.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. Never is new clothes.
here it is again. They show an operating deficit of 3.55 million before capital grants and contributions, down from a surplus of 638,000. So that's a pretty big turnaround, about $4.2 million turnaround. Now, it says, while council had budgeted for a smaller deficit of 741,000, that would have only been
So they were planning for a little bit of failure.
a $1.4 million turnaround. They've far exceeded that. The final result was shaped by factors largely outside council's control, and timing of grant income, blah 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 blah.
So our welfare check didn't arrive on time.
Well,
we've been applying for welfare because we are effectively welfare recipients, and we've budgeted around potential lottery wins and welfare, and it didn't come through on time. So we've blown our budget because we can't count. Is that kind of where we're at?
Well, there's a statement within this media release from the mayor that says, and it's in quotation marks, this is a direct quote from the mayor.
Oh, very good.
Financial sustainability is the number one issue facing rural, remote and regional councils. Now, I would say that's every council.
I would say
it should be rural, remote, regional.
And every government and every household. Yes. And every individual on planet Earth has to operate within their financial sustainability capabilities.
Mayor Furman goes on to say, rate pegging and cost shifting from other levels of government continue to stretch our resources. We're constantly looking for smarter, more efficient ways to deliver services for our Shire community. So there's no answers there.
No.
It's just a few statements of generalisations.
But we are planning to get someone to go around and look in your window to make sure your house is occupied at the tune of a couple $100,000 a year, I assume.
So council adopted a financial sustainability strategy in May 2025. So that hasn't kicked in yet, obviously. And is currently developing an organisational efficiency and productivity gains improvement plan.
We're very new to the space. We weren't sure what we were faced with, and it's all very fresh to us.
This plan to be presented in November. Now, here we are at about the 13th of November, so it should be imminent. Outlines opportunities for cost savings, increased income, and long-term sustainability. The mayor goes on to list all of the projects that were delivered over the course of the year. And he says, councillors, staff and I are all proud of what we've achieved. Well, he's generalising there. I'm not overly proud of a $3.5 million loss.
Thank you. I'm glad you're not. And I don't think anybody else should be either.
He says, so councillors, so he sort of generalised there, and he hasn't got my support when he says that. Councillors, staff and I are all proud of what we've achieved. Well, I'm not proud of a $3.5 million loss. Even in a tough financial climate, said Mayor Furman. And we're grateful to everyone who takes the time to review our financial statements.
Which, fortunately for you, Mayor, very few people do. The majority of people in the community are never going to go on your website and look this shit up. If he didn't do it, I'd be very hard-pressed to do it. And I actually give a shit about this stuff. The majority of the population, as you all know, live and die by the media coverage of the Temora Dependent, and the fact that none of this has been put in the Temora Dependent is clearly for lack of a better term, a cover-up or a deliberate under-reporting of a pretty serious issue, knowing full fucking well the average nana and punter in Temora is not going to the trouble of reading your fucking website. They buy the local rag and they assume that some of the stuff in there just may be informative about things that matter to them, as opposed to the fluff, the bullshit, and the mayor's minute 15 times a bloody newspaper.
Well, the thing is, so that came through council's email system. And I've looked on council's website.
Oh, it's not on the website. So they've just circulated it amongst themselves.
Well,
we're being transparent. We sent it to the other councillors and executives to make sure that you're all in the loop.
Well, they've sent it to the news.
Don't tell anyone.
They've sent it to some news agencies, but I'm sure the news agencies have got it, but the news agencies don't appear to have picked it up. So
I suppose, I mean, the only news agency that you would think must pick it up is the Temora Independent if they wish to maintain any journalistic credibility. The fact that they haven't tells you everything they need to know. I can't imagine the Wagga paper or any of the others really give a flying monkeys. They can give two shits about Temora's council because their own council's going broke. they're all kind of going broke, and they're all doing a little backwards and sideways dance to try and keep the lights on, try to work out how to rob and steal from you without over robbing and stealing from you. You know, the old used to be the shear the sheep, so you get them again next year. They're all pushing us as far as they can, as hard as they can, without us hopefully, in their opinion, not quite dying on them.
So the media release, I've just searched media release 11 November 2025.
Yeah.
Which, well, let's go
So it's
actually
not
back
on the
to.
so it's not on the web, is what you're telling me.
But it's been released since Tuesday. And what's the headline behind the numbers? Okay, well, let's just take that. We'll take that whole
Cut and put it into the
copy,
search bar, yeah, for sure.
and we'll put that into the search and see whether this website's got any capabilities. Paste, okay, search.
Fucking hell.
No,
Since apparently it's a media release, can you send it to me and I will publish it for the public, because apparently somebody's got to.
well, it's not, but it hasn't been published by the people who've released it.
Right. So it's been sent out to media outlets, obviously, to be picked up.
Yes, but it hasn't been. Because it was released on Tuesday. Because today's the
Thursday,
third.
Google. Yeah.
So it was released on the 11th. So it was released Tuesday, which would have given Mr. Fisher and his cohort ample opportunity to.
From the paper, the bloke's Fisher again nowadays, isn't he? Yeah.
Noel Fisher's the
Noel Fisher's the editor of the paper. Can Noel read?
Oh, Noel. Look, Noel's everyone gets a chance.
Sure.
Noel's still in the grace period.
Noel
hasn't fouled his pants yet,
no.
much as our friend Mr. Cunningham or
those pair of spazzers can stay on the spaz list. I can never flying what they come out with, those
even
shits.
Tom Gosling managed to get through without turning into a goose. So
he was only there for 3 weeks, but now we've got arguably a very, very significant story relative to
this was released on the 11th
of November.
But what's more important is the actual. It's taken. The figures were released on the 16th of October.
Yeah. So it's taken nearly a month to kind of
taken
come
4
weeks and roll it out.
2 days short of 4 weeks to actually come out with a media release. You want to make the most of it, because if you want to have any say on these figures, they're only on exhibition for another couple of weeks.
Yeah, so it's a deliberate slowing down of the informational rollout.
They're on exhibition till the 27th, and it's the 13th today. So it's basically exactly 2 weeks from today.
I smell the bullshit.
Well, like I say, the lines of communication aren't really open.
No, of course they're not, because but I can tell you what, if there was a ribbon cutting down at the park for a lemonade fucking stand, they'd be there and it'd be the front page of the paper right after they tax the lemonade stand accordingly for not having a fucking permit.
Well, like I say, now, would you believe I've come across last year's media release?
Oh, good.
And I'd like to do a comparison.
Okay.
So this is the release that came out on the 29th of October last year. So they're a little bit quicker, because it would have come out after the.
We're doing okay. Unavoidable. There's a lot of unavoidable shit that they seem to jump on in these things.
Now, this doesn't sound right, because this was published on the 29th of October 2024.
Yeah.
And this is how efficient they are. On Thursday, the 24th of November, at Council's extraordinary meeting, Council authorised the signing of the draft financial sign. Council did an operating surface. I don't know how you can preempt that, because it was released on the 29th of October. Anyway, Council achieved an operating surplus of 638,000 last financial year, down from 1.625 million. Financial sustainability.
So we are going backwards at a rapid pace year on year. Good job.
Financial sustainability is the number one issue facing all rural and regional councils, and we are doing okay. Now, I reckon I've heard that line before.
Cut and paste.
I don't.
Is that like one of those lines where you and I end up in a thing out at Bathurst for a code of conduct for a completely different councillor who's never been on the program?
Well, let's just have a look. We don't want to jump to.
Don't want to jump to conclusions.
Let's have a look here. This is slow, this computer tonight. It's not that hard, computer. It really shouldn't be that hard.
Well, while that's loading up. So now Warren Buffett, arguably the finest money manager on planet Earth in modern history.
Made a few bob.
He's made a few bucks. He's got a bit of an idea. And one of his excellent quotes in recent times with all the shutdowns of government in America and all that sort of shit. His quote relative to financial management of our governments, obviously he's talking about the US, but yes. Fucking potato in a lot of ways. Warren Buffett said, I could end the deficit in 5 minutes. Just pass a law that says anytime there's a deficit of more than 3% of GDP, all members of Congress are ineligible for re-election. Now the right incentives are in the right place.
Warren, see, me and Warren have both got similar types of views on this. I said that councillors shouldn't get paid
until you're in surplus,
unless we're in.
Absolutely.
Play. And also, I've also said that I could end all wars tomorrow.
All wars?
Yes, because back in the day when you wanted to start a war, it was mano on mano, and if you had an army behind you, well, so be it. But you stood up the front. Yes. You led your army.
Yes.
So if Albo wanted to start a fight with someone, he'd have to lead.
Yes.
So I reckon Albo wouldn't start any fights.
I reckon you're pretty right.
Yeah, I think if Zelensky had to stand at the front in the Ukraine, I reckon that war would be over tomorrow. And the same thing with Putin and all the rest of it.
Yeah. No, I hear you. There aren't a lot of Napoleon Bonapartes getting around. They talk about him having little man syndrome. Tell you what, he stood at the front of it.
Yes.
And he was around there wielding axes like a fucking champion. It's an interesting time to be alive. We're led by cowards. We're led by, mongrel dogs who have no backbone whatsoever. And that seeps into local, federal, and state.
But they don't take responsibility for their own actions.
No, fuck. Yeah. No, why would they do that? They can fop it off as being your fault or mine.
Let's compare the pair.
Yeah, right. Let's do it.
So, 2024, 2020, this is this year's. Financial sustainability is the number one issue facing rural, remote, and regional councils, Mayor Furman said. Okay, now last year, he said, why does it keep going? It shouldn't close. Here we go. Last year, he said, financial sustainability is the number one issue facing all rural and regional councils, and we're doing okay considering. So, anyway.
Cut and paste, baby, cut and paste.
Last year, he said it's clear inflationary pressures continue to affect all areas of council's operations, but that inflationary pressures are affecting everyone.
It's clearly overspending pressures.
Price increases to fuel, insurance, freight, and materials. Well, that's true. So you've got to cut costs somewhere else.
That's true, but that's true of the entire planet. That's every punter is a thing, and the only thing that they know how to do is increase rates.
See,
increase rates, increase charging, bleed the population.
This is an interesting line. Again, this year, council's grant funding received is at an unprecedented high at 17.85 million, an increase of 1 million from the previous financial year. So, you know what I mean?
Well, we're a glorified charity, obviously. We're running off the welfare payments of the state government. And realistically, all three levels of government should absolutely be gutted.
But even this should be acknowledged as well as celebrated. So we've got to celebrate that we've got $17.85 million in grant funding. And that we only recorded a deficit here of about 700,000, ballpark. As successful application fundings take a lot of council staff and time resources to achieve. This is important during this time so that we can continue to invest. We can continue to invest and improve our assets during this strenuous time. It's a strenuous time. I've never heard a time referred to as a strenuous time. I've heard of strenuous activity. I've heard of a strenuous workout. But I've never heard a financial period being describe during this strenuous time.
A strenuous time.
It's a very interesting use of the English language from our mayor.
Well, that's been known.
Mayor Furman praised. So he praised.
Oh, what did I do now?
Okay. So, look, there's, again, a big list of things.
Sure. You know, like, and if
Now,
there wasn't a big list of things,
here's
those
the-
things would be almost impossible to justify. But you can justify
But
any.
listen
I
to
can
this.
justify any project if I'm using somebody else's money.
Listen to this. Now, what did we say the deficit is overall? We've had a roughly 700,000, but down 3, but about 4.2 million, didn't we?
Yeah, about 4.2, I think's the number.
Okay.
About, as I said at
Now,
the start of the program.
While council has a surplus, the results are distorted. This is last year's.
Yeah.
The results are distorted due to the receipt in advance of approximately 85% of the 2025 financial year financial assistance grant allocation in 2024 of how much? 4.3 million. So we got $4.3 million in advance.
So we're low. They've spotted us 4.3 million.
That 4.3 million was supposed to be here this year.
And we've spent it. We've
Well,
pissed
we
it up
got
the
it
wall.
last year.
We've used
And
it on.
we spent it.
We've used it on Botox and boob jobs.
So this year, guess how much short we are?
Fuck.
We're short 4.3 million.
So what we can say is that, you know, whoever's in charge can't budget.
Look, it just means, Dean, I'm going to give you $10 a week pocket money, right? So I'm going to give you $10 this week, all right? And I'm not going to give you any more till next Monday. Okay, there you go. So you come and see me next Monday and I say, look, Dean, I'm going to give you this week's pocket money and I'm going to give you half of next week's pocket money, all right? So next week I'm only going to give you half of it. $5. Okay.
Gone in a
And
day.
you go and spend it in a day and you come back and you say, can I have my pocket money and I'll give you $5 and you go, where's the rest of it? And you go, you had it last week.
You sound a lot like my 12-year-old this week.
Had it last week.
You sound a lot like my 12-year-old.
I'm just trying to break it
But
down.
Dad, I already spent the 20 you gave me.
Yeah.
I need another 20. No, you were told that's to last you until the weekend. That's that's how it's going to be. Yeah, but Dad, I went to Macca's with my mates and I fucking blew it. I bought ice creams and fucking Big Macs, and we're fat bastards. And there was another kid there who didn't have any money, so I bought him lunch, which is fine, except now you don't have any money. That's called decision making and consequences for fucking actions.
Look,
the part that pisses me off the most, right, is because as individuals, as people watching the program, as people functioning in society, and I'm just generalizing, with varying degrees of financial acumen and lack thereof. There are plenty of people. I've made a ton of money mistakes because you know what? They don't teach that shit in school.
You haven't got a heap of accountants checking your money either.
That's where I'm going. I don't have a financial controller with a degree in finances of whatever description, but in accounting, and economics, whatever the fuck, right? You've got me going, I'll shove that under my pillow. I'll shove that there. I'll let the tax man know about that $1 million. I'll let him know about that 2 million. I'm not telling them about the 3 over there. They can fuck off. Let's see if that sparks an investigation here. Funny. My house will get raided by ATO agents and I'll laugh my ass off. But the point being, right?
I'm sure they've got better things.
Oh, fuck knows. I don't know. Richard Boyle got more time than Ivan Milat on paper, so let's not pretend that they have better things to do. But there are people out there who really genuinely struggle and they get whatever payment they get. And we all know that I'd really like to abolish welfare. I wouldn't like to just cut it off. I'd like to find a way to phase it out and strengthen the community so they don't need it. But they're struggling. If they're on welfare, there's a pretty good chance money management's not a fucking strong suit. If you're an average punter running a business husband and wife team, chances are your wife's trying to do the books to the best of her ability. She may not know. It's probably a sexist thing to say, but fuck off. But, you're out working, you're a tradie, for example, you're a tradie and you bum off, you're plumbing, whatever. Your missus at home, she's trying to do the book. She's trying to keep up with the tax code, which is fucked. You've had a few apprentices. You've got a couple of carpenters, a couple of subcontractors, and then some fucking idiot's falling over. You've got an insurance company to deal with, and then you've got suppliers, all the rest of it, right? And that's just, for lack of a better term, just a mum. And I did say the other week how much I think mums should be revered as one of the most important jobs on the planet. So for the bedwetters, calm the fuck down. But they're just trying their guts out. These people at councils, at governments, at multinational fucking corporations can't get it right with an army of lawyers, accountants, administrators, financial fucking gurus.
That's exactly right. When you see the big wage theft incidents, they come from the big end of town.
Yes, fucking
And
lawyers
they are the people
underpaid
who
by
have
two.
They've got a phalanx of lawyers and a phalanx of HR people. Just officers and officers and rows and rows.
But let me tell you, if you're not paying your, I don't know, rates on time, I pay mine when it suits me because I don't give a fuck. But you know, the average punter who's trying to do the right thing because they've been bred to be, you know, good little donkeys, you know, and they're trying to comply. You know, they're sitting there, fuck, what do I do? Oh shit, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. Oh, there's a $20 fine on top of the other.
Oh.
You know, they just get fucked. Absolute parasites. And this is more proof these people can't count. And they've got an army of lawyers, accountants, doctors. They're either incompetent
but last
or it's
year's
deliberate.
Financial figures tell us that we're going to have this deficit. Last year they said we got $4.3 million more than we should have because it was drawn out from next year.
Yeah, but they were supposed to give us another advance this year. Why didn't they do it? Why didn't they give us more money up front? Because that's just what we thought would happen. And again, it's when the average punter fucks things up, I'm quite defensive of them because they don't have an army of lawyers. They're trying to battle through. There's 124 different taxes in Australia that the average punter's trying to keep up with. We have the most complicated workplace relations laws in the world, and you've got average punters trying to run it because we can't afford a phalanx of fucking lawyers or a phalanx of accountants. I get the shits when I have to pay the one accountant that I use. You know, I've got 4 or 5 in the wings if I need them, but fuck, it's not cheap. I can't have them just looking after my money all day, every day. I'd need to have another fucking 3 businesses to make that work. And the average punter has no shot in the wide world of managing this shit. And then we see this fucking malarkey. Gwen Clark has asked a question. I mean, there's a few guys there that have said g'day. Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. Gwen Clark, how much money was spent on the codes of conduct against Irv? That'd be interesting. Do we have a total for that one?
That should be released in business papers for next month. They have to do the reporting on that.
Okay.
But that won't be just me. It'll be the reporting of all the codes of conduct for the whole organisation.
Which will be just you.
Well, we don't know that.
I reckon we could put we could put one.
No, they're confidential.
We could put 1 million of the deficit on the thing there. And then see how that goes. Or they could. Who else would there possibly be codes of conduct? I'm not on council, but I wouldn't mind betting that, you know, if it's a couple of $100,000 or something, it'll be the front page of the paper. There's 200,000 in the hole. 3.5 million of that's all Irv's fault for having the audacity of asking these clowns questions.
Well, like I say, I've sat there. I could have saved us a couple of $100,000 or $100,000 minimum on just knocking off council's pay. Councillors pay, because there's 9 councils and they get approximately 12,000 each. There's 108,000. Plus there's an extra allowance for the deputy mayor and the mayor.
Yeah, righto.
So that'd add up.
So 150,000, and you shouldn't get that if you're in deficit. Sorry.
Well, you don't get it if your mum and dad sitting at the kitchen table and you've got to pay the electricity bill and the water bill and the fuel bill and the grocery bill, and you've got none left.
But it's other people's money, so it's all right.
Well, I'm just saying.
It's all
now,
right.
One little trend that I've noticed, and I'm a bit concerned about.
A trend?
Yes. We seem to be overrun at the moment with consultants. Now, we've got a consultant currently working for Temora Shire Council from a company called Pythias.
Pythias? That's it's
a very Greek sort of.
I was going to say, it sounds like something out of a Greek mythology. Or...
Yeah, Pythias. I don't know what Pythias might represent.
Yeah.
And
what are they consulting on? How to get rid of McRae and Irvine?
No, this is his economic development strategy.
Ah, I've got an economic development strategy. Stop spending more than you earn. That's a fucking excellent start. There we go. We're back to square one. Good job, guys. How much will they pay in Pythagoras?
Don't know.
I'll have a cut of that. That'll be fine.
Um,
You can pay me for my wisdom and clear thinking, decision making.
Well, the one thing that I think,
Pythias Advisory.
yeah, now they did some workshops.
Well, that sounds serious.
They did one at Area Park. They did one at Temora. These have already been had, so participants should come prepared to contribute to the discussions that primarily identify the strengths, challenges, and opportunities for growth at Temora Shire. The workshops will be facilitated by this individual, blah, blah, blah. Now, let me just find a bit of an indication of what sort of stuff they're discussing, because I had an interesting, robust conversation with a ratepayer today about this very subject.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to get off track too much, but
I know that's what we're here to do. We've got an hour and 20, 30 minutes to go off track. We can go wherever we like. Go bush. It's all good.
I'll find this survey. This is the survey, and we spoke about it here a little while ago, where there were like questions like, do you think we should
have 20 million people in Temora by 2025?
Yeah, do you think we should increase the population by nothing, or by this much, or by 50% or 100%? And I don't want to be a negative Nancy.
You don't.
But I am a realist when it comes to this sort of stuff. And I can't
I'll say what I probably said the other night. That'll depend on what the population is made up of. Are they coming here to work, contribute, and be useful, or are they coming here as welfare parasites who think fucking hacking up kids with machetes is a good idea? Because I don't want any of them fuckers here.
But even to the point that, what are they going to do? What are the high-paying jobs that's going to attract this 50% increase in the population of the Shire? And
fucking Menulog can't even make a go of it in Australia. I can't see too many more things going well.
Well,
under the current regimes, because the alternative isn't any fucking better.
Someone said to me today that there's a growth prospect if we can make the Temora and the villages attractive places to live and provide the services that modern people expect, but still maintain that village lifestyle, then there's an opportunity to attract people who can work from home. And there's been a number of people who've relocated into these areas and work from home now, and they earn good income.
Mm.
They bring obviously a level of intelligence, and they're successful people. But and I don't want to be negative on this, but the way this is going to work, in my
opinion
is, I don't look in the newspaper in the job ads and see work from home, 150 grand a year, blah, 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 blah. Most of these people who are working from home were working for companies at an office job, and then they started working from home perhaps over COVID, and then they've allowed those arrangements to continue.
Yeah.
Some of these people have got jobs where you can work from home. Now, the company is quite happy to pay at the moment 150 grand for someone to work from home and live in Area Park, or live in Springdale, or live in Temora. But I'm telling you, the way economics generally works is, if your job is that
flexible, nomadic,
if your work means that you don't have to attend the workplace, you don't have to be present for that extent, then what's to stop someone in Bangladesh doing it?
Correct.
Because Bar Medman and Bangladesh, there's not much difference. They both start with B. But the bloke at Bangladesh is going to be working for a hell of a lot less than the bloke at Barm Edmund.
Yep.
And companies are interested in that stuff.
Bloody earth they are.
So that's probably the one thing that people are talking about.
And the other silly aspect to that clearly you're not going to, well, some may or may not, right? I don't mind Barm Ed. I go out there every now and then and do the odd little job, whatever. But if you're not born out this way, Barm Edmund doesn't hold a lot of appeal.
Oh, look, it all depends.
And I'll say it like this.
I'm not even.
If I'm working from my laptop, right, but all of a sudden I go from doing the things that I'm doing and mostly enjoying, but all of a sudden I can earn 150 grand a year from the laptop and the phone at home. Am I going to stick around somewhere like Barm Edmund, or am I going to find a nice tropical island somewhere, or somewhere kind of really happening and, you know, vibrant and da-da-da-da-da, and am I going to go, fuck it, I'll go and I'm not a pool guy, but I imagine a lot of these people are. More people like hanging out around pools than what I do. But if I'm in the space where I'm earning 150K from wherever in the world I want to be, why the fuck? What's going to make me want to come out here? Because there's not a lot. Maybe if you're into planes, I could probably see you going, oh, fuck, they've got a great little airport set up out there. That's in my wheelhouse. Happy days. The lakes, I mean, you know, that's not a bad setup. It's pretty cool. But as opposed to a beach at Manly, maybe not. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, realistically, if I've got 150 grand a year coming in and I don't have to be in any specific geographical location, there's not that much that's going to make you come out this way unless you've either got family out here and you really like that idea. Yeah, you know, I mean, I just don't see it as being a huge draw card for that market.
Well, like I say, I don't think anyone who's sensible knows that we're on the cusp of AI starting to wipe out
a ton of jobs,
a heap of jobs. So even if we could replace some of those lost jobs with people who wanted to work from home and live out in these rural areas, it's not going to create the growth driver that we need to support an increase in the population of 50%.
No.
That's the real. Put it this way: what do we produce in this area? We produce wheat, sheep, canola, barley, oats. Okay. I believe that the farmers in this area, as dryland farmers, are absolutely maximising the output.
Yep.
So unless someone can create an irrigation scheme that's going to work out here on hills, but it won't.
And I mean,
no, but like I say, this place is producing as much wealth. Like, we're maximising what we can with what we've got.
Yeah, and with companies like Altura, the way they farm, you know, 30-kilometre paddocks type thing, buy all the family farms, rip all the fences out, done. You know, they're 5-kilometre bloody header runs. It's not like they're creating another 50 jobs, or, you know what I mean? They're creating some jobs, but there's also...
We're talking about exactly that now, and you can't. This is just industrial farming or the corporate farming.
Yeah,
but it's also happening at a family farm scale.
Yeah.
When you look on the roads now, like back in the day, when I was a kid, harvest used to be undertaken with 8-ton trucks, 10-ton trucks.
Yep.
Then the farmers got single semis.
Now they've got B-dubs.
Well, now they've got road trains.
Well,
so you've got one guy bringing to the silo or to the grain terminal 6 to 8 to 10 times more than they used to carry in one truck back in the day.
Yeah.
One bloke doing it. So that ain't. So we're not going to. They're using less people in the transport industry.
Yes.
For the last 20 or 30 years, people have been plotting their farms, setting up all the GPS, mapping their paddocks. I believe we're on the cusp, and I might be a little bit premature in this observation, but I do think that we'd be very close to autonomous.
Mate, we're 3/4 there. I had a chat with a farmer mate of mine a few weeks back. We're talking about equipment, obviously, in my little sales space, kind of. They're talking about, the drones, the drone farming. We don't need 30 farmers. We go up, we go round, we go.
Yeah.
We're becoming obsolete. We're making ourselves obsolete in a lot of ways. How do we navigate in and around that? And the whole economy is going to change. The world economy in 10 years is going to look nothing like it currently looks.
So, well, if that's the case, then can you see much merit in this idea of having these consultants and these workshops?
I can't see any merit in it. I think it's a complete waste of time. The
one thing I'll say about people in the country, and you and me and a heap of people watching, we're not lazy, and we're not unintelligent, and we're not unmotivated.
Yeah.
Right. The majority of people who live out in these country areas are the same as everyone else, and they're motivated, and they're striving, and they're trying, and they're constantly exploring ways to value add or to find efficiencies or to generate a little bit more out of what they've got.
Yep.
And I really resent when someone comes in from outside and sort of says, this is what you need to do and that's what you need to do. One observation I made recently was that it's taken about 150 years for Temora to settle at this population without any massive social engineering.
Yeah.
So the only thing that will bring about an increase in the population of 50% in the short to medium term will be a massive social engineering exercise, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I believe the challenge is going to be absolutely to maintain what we've got, let alone to grow it by 50%.
Yeah. I think that's complete fucking. The only way that's not a delusion is if they literally are planning on picking up
busloads
of people who have no fucking business being out this way and have no business or interest in assimilating. They're effectively going to go to shitholes, load them up, and they're going to come and they're going to dump them here and go, they're your problem now. Fuck, thanks very much. But the population's gone up by 50%. Look at that growth.
Yes.
Wonderful growth. Look at that.
Yeah, and
don't you worry about them machete wielding pricks or them kids getting hacked up. That's just part of the multiculturalism.
But I think
teething problems, they'll call it.
I think there'll be, if we have growth of that level. Like the question I ask is, where are the high-paying jobs coming from? Where, is this all going to be just?
I don't know.
What are we going to do?
And, look, I guess I suspect, and I've spent a lot of time, those of you who follow me kind of closely online, I've been experimenting with a heap of digital shit and AI shit. Because I honestly believe that an awful lot of jobs are going to get, the current things that exist are going to be obliterated. I'm trying to learn it all now so that at least when it happens, I'll have half a show at making something work.
Well, let's quickly do this survey. From an economic perspective, what are the top 3 greatest strengths of the Temora Shire today? Agriculture. Economic perspective.
Yeah.
Have to be agriculture.
Of course, yeah. We don't really manufacture anything much here.
No, there's very limited manufacturing.
You've got your airport's a bit of an economic driver.
So there's some aviation, recreational aviation.
Yeah. I suppose that touristy type.
Okay, well,
if we lump the lake, the jet boats in with the airport, maybe you'd go touristy.
Tourism, agriculture, tourism, and
I'm at a loss for what the third would be.
Aged care?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we were voted at one stage the most likely place in New South Wales people go to die. So I suppose
we've got a very ageing population.
Yeah.
So
aged care is probably, that's probably
we've got
best.
A number of providers in that space.
Yeah. I think that's probably a fair.
Okay.
So you look at those 3, right?
Okay. So in the next 5 to 10 years, what are the top 3 greatest opportunities for new economic growth or attracting new businesses into the Temora Shire?
Okay. Now, are we going to talk pie in the sky, or are we going to talk?
This is exactly right.
This is just a fantasy.
It has to be something that's organic.
Yeah.
We're not talking about something that gets helicoptered in and relies on government funding to exist.
Yes.
Now,
Well, they're not saying that. They're quite
No.
happy for government funding
No.
to roll these things into
But-
exist.
okay, so if someone started a mine, but that's out of our hands because that's a private undertaking.
Enterprise, yeah.
But if someone did start a mine, that would create new economic growth.
Particularly if there was plenty to dig up out of the mine,
Yes.
that would be fairly handy. Seems to be looking after West Wyalong relatively well.
Well, and also that creates opportunities within the town, and it does drive new business.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there'd be fitters, and there'd be all the service industries and the
those big industries, they come. Now you sit there and you go,
so we've got a mine, but that's dependent on others.
of course.
Someone suggested at one of these things I was at, if Temora could attract an aircraft maintenance facility.
Well, that'd fit right in, I guess, with what's already kind of going on.
But I know a bloke who's already running an aircraft maintenance facility at Griffin.
Yeah.
And he's getting to the end of his career.
Yeah.
And he's not in love with the industry. He believes the margins are very tight. People look at aviation and they think it's loaded with cash, but it's not. It's a very expensive place to exist.
Yeah.
It's a difficult place to make money.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it's high cost. I mean, you've only got to look at Rex Airlines to understand it.
Oh, look. What was it? I think it was Richard Branson who said, "What's the easiest way to become a millionaire? First, you become a billionaire, and then you buy an airline."
Yes.
So
I don't know.
You'll go backwards real quick.
What else? What else is there? There's not much in the tourism space that we could generate here that's going to.
It's not already there. Look, we were discussing it the other day. Go-kart tracks, as in the recreational kids. I'm not talking about the little speedway that they're over there for proper go-karts. I'm talking about as a tourism.
Yeah.
How many have they had set up and then fail in Wagga?
Yes.
Wagga's the biggest inland city in New South Wales.
Well, it was. I don't know whether it's still is, but yeah,
it's certainly in the mix.
Yeah.
And they can't maintain something as simple as a go-kart track. They can only maintain one bowling alley, and it's the largest inland city. So there's not that people go, what a great idea. We'll have a bowling alley. We can have all, that sort of entertainment-y type stuff.
But that's right. It's entertainment. It's not.
They're not going to carry the load. So the entertainment.
They've still got Wagga as the largest inland city.
Okay. So things like that aren't going to be adding to the tourist combination of services out here. And it's effectively going to be impossible because we're run by communist fuckwits who hate us all. But if our government, when I'm Prime Minister, right, so when I'm Prime Minister a couple of years' time, I'll turf all these dickheads and we'll go, right, here's game on. Take the handbrake off power. Forget all this green bullshit. Like, if you want to do green and it's financially viable without subsidies, so we take the handbrake off it. We go, right, China, anyone who's buying our resources, here's the fucking go. Happy to sell them to you after Australians have had their first dig. And then we say we bring manufacturing opportunities into places like this. Could be tomorrow, could be any of these small places, could be wherever. But if those energy costs are absolutely down as much as they should be,
That'd help.
Well, it makes the reason we don't build cars or anything is it's not fucking viable. Nobody can afford it.
But even in a Temora perspective, it doesn't make much sense.
No, but if you were to
a car factory here.
But again, car factories were built in strange places. The Holden factory was down in a little town near Victoria that went from
Fisherman's Bend or whatever.
I can't remember what it was called. But that town grew and thrived off the back of that manufacturing. As soon as it died, the town was fucked. End of story. If we could find a way, we're not going to do it. It's not going to happen because we're too deluded and too busy kissing the UN and the rest of these cockheads' asses. Take the handbrakes off those sort of things, the restrictions to employ people. You make it viable, interesting, and all of a sudden we've got ourselves any form of manufacturing. And that's where. And in this country with me as a Prime Minister,
it's not something we can do from here.
But in this country, when I'm Prime Minister, then when Mayor Irvine says, well, tomorrow, what are we going to do? You can find a company, Holden, for argument's sake, just out of you ring them up and you go, look, we're happy to help you set up an infrastructure or provide the land for you to get set up. No taxes, whatever, because there's going to be that driving economy.
But we've also got to there's also these natural limitations.
Sure.
What's one of the biggest limiting factors to development?
Distance.
Water.
Well, yeah, water's a big one.
Yes.
But if you're talking about for us though,
but
we're so far from ports and
Yes.
and access to.
No, but I'm talking about actual water. So if you wanted to put some sort of a food production facility,
Yeah.
it'd be very difficult for someone to have a market garden in Temora because you could have a long, hot, dry summer and run out of water.
Pardon me.
And if you had to pay full tote odds for your water out of the potable water system,
Yep.
it'd make it unviable. Like, there's a hell of a lot of things people can do, but a lot of these things there's not much money in.
Yes.
That's the problem. Like, so you can have a lot of these ideas. There used to be a strawberry farm out at Springdale.
Yes, Springdale strawberries were huge.
But it was a cottage industry.
Yeah.
And the Woolworthization of the world has destroyed all those little cottage industries for that type of stuff. There is the opportunity now. Wagga's got a strawberry farm at the back in Wiradjuri there near the driving range, the golf driving range. It seems to be doing okay, but again,
What is it?
A strawberry farm.
Yeah, okay.
And they're doing they'll do the pick your own, and they're
So the tourism
yes,
farming,
the tourism side of it.
tourism
Exactly,
farming.
yes.
That's what that is. Yeah. Farm stays and shit like that.
But that's still not going to generate. Like, these aren't nation building projects. These are little follies.
And that's the hardest part is until you get a grip of your federal government, nation building projects just aren't a thing.
And here's the part that
I
can't get my head around. The Shire's population is currently about 6,000. Over the next 20 years, what level of population growth do you believe the Shire should actively plan and manage for? Now, would you believe that when this question was posed and we were talking about this, Councillor Nigel Judd said, we're going backwards. He said it used to be about 7,000.
Right.
So we're flat out holding station. Temora's population actually declined in 2023 due to an abnormally high number of deaths in the elderly population due to COVID.
Yes, right.
That's the knife edge that we're on.
Mm.
So I remember in the 2000s when we had the bad drought, Temora's population declined.
Yep.
Because there was no meaningful work for young people to do. They had to move away to get work.
Yeah.
So when ag's on its knees, Temora struggles. So this idea of let's just increase it, say, by 3,000 people.
Well, it's a deluded fantasy at the best. Again, unless you're going to roll in.
Unless you're going to have someone there who can turn the rain tap on and off and have consistent harvests and all the rest of it.
Even then, though, the way farming's being done now, there's less and less humans involved in that process too.
Yeah, so even if you did have a consistent weather pattern,
and
it'd still be difficult to see. Anyway, like I say,
very, very hard. Folly.
What is your occupation?
My occupation. Fuck. I've got a few. Which one do you want?
Well, there you are: student, business owner, employee, retired, semi-retired, farmer.
All of the above.
Yes, all of the above.
All of the above.
What are the three most significant challenges or barriers currently holding back economic growth in the Temora Shire? We've just been listing some of them.
Yeah.
What's the single most important thing Temora Shire Council could do to support these opportunities?
Get out of the fucking way.
Get out of the road. Or when you're spending money, spend it with local businesses and support local businesses and target your spending to grow local business.
And that's hard too. That is hard too, because when you look at, and I'm at hardware shops, and I hope Moses and Son do exceptionally well with Mitre 10, but that's been tried. Now,
I was thinking about that exact thing. Now, there's a couple of. No, just let me these thoughts. I need to get this one on the table. In some respects, the Moses development is just going to cannibalise the two existing hardware businesses. There is, however, a fair dollar spend that doesn't go to the current existing local hardware businesses.
Yeah.
That goes to
Bunnings
in Wagga or Bunnings in Young or another larger chain hardware store. So if Moses could attract that back, they're still, I believe, going to cannibalise the market. And I think a lot of their, I don't know what the figures would be. I'd love to know what the actual figures look like, but say they could arrest 40% of the out-of-town spend.
Yeah.
I still think the other 60% of their income will come from the other two existing businesses. So there's a little bit of cannibalisation. They may be able to attract some of the outside spend.
Maybe.
So they're the thoughts I just want to get on the table. So they're.
Well,
So
I think you're right.
It's not a new business.
No, it's not. Well, you're transferring a portion of business. There's still going to be an awful lot of people that are going to go shopping in Wagga.
But just to butt in again,
yeah,
you know that as soon as the population hits $9,000 or $10,000, guess what?
Oh,
Bunnings move in and go, get out of the road.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. But if I can, and again, it probably doesn't happen if you're going to go and buy a hammer. If you're going to go and buy a hammer, you're going to go to the cheap shop, you're going to go to Cornford's currently, or you're going to duck up to the new shop, sure. But if you've got a big whack of stuff that you need to buy or want to buy, and the price, let's say you're going to spend, I don't know, $2,000 worth of home shit, whatever it be, potting mixes and rake or whatever, you're doing a garden, fuck it, right? And you're going to spend $2,000 for the day. If right, we're going to do it. If the same $2,000 spend locally is only going to buy you 3/4 of the stuff that it'll buy you for a full $2,000 in Bunnings, you're going to drive to Wagga.
I don't support the idea of. I don't encourage supporting laziness or inefficiency or supporting businesses that aren't doing the right thing or the right pricing. But I'll tell you straight up, I was doing some big jobs for GrainCorp and I was buying pallets of rapid set concrete.
Yeah.
And Matthews Hardware was supplying that rapid set concrete at a price better than Bunnings.
Yep. Oh, it's possible for sure.
That's what I mean. So I remember talking to a local builder and he said to me that Matthews was selling Villaboard, the hardy sheet fibre cement.
Yep.
Best price in the Riverina.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. I know where our prices sit and I know what we deliver in terms of product and quality.
Yep.
And I believe we are absolutely smashing it price-wise and value for money. Now, people will turn around and say, oh, yes, but I got a price on the sign and yours was 150 and the other one was 100. And I'll guarantee you that the quality of the materials that we used were far superior. That's the difference.
Yeah.
When you buy a product of ours, it will be the majority of the spend, the difference in the spend will be in the difference in the quality of the materials.
Yes.
I was blown away today because I went and did some actual gold leaf honour boards over the last couple of days.
Yep.
Traditional hand-painted gold leaf honour boards. Now,
you didn't get AI to do it?
No, well, AI did it. Here's the Irvine. But years and years ago, a book of gold leaf was $30, $40.
Yep.
Now I used a bit of gold leaf on this job, a good bit.
Yep.
And I had some in my stock, but I just rang up one of the suppliers and I said, "What's the replacement value of this?" It's $182. I nearly fell over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe these are things that even $60, $70 you'd go, geez, that's getting up there.
But I mean, you go into even the food game, right?
But gold's just gone like that. So even in the past 12 months, those books of gold have probably doubled in price.
Yeah.
But even when they were $90, it was still like, don't get me wrong, kids. I've been doing this since 1986. So back in the olden days.
I was 5.
So I'm talking about the olden days when I'm talking about some of these prices. But yeah, $30 for a book of gold leaf. Well, that's, and there'd be old timers out there who go, oh, mate, I don't know, I was 15. But 182 is today's price.
Yes.
Anyway, back to your thoughts on this hardware.
Oh, it's just the same sort of thing. You look at a lot of that and you can do, in some areas they can do really well. In other areas you can't.
Yeah.
I don't see that as a game changer. I see it potentially as a game changer for Moses. I hope everyone who's in business who has a crack does well. I just don't know that it's going to be a game changer in this context. They thought McDonald's was going to be a game changer when it came to town and it was going to be fucking amazing and whatever. And let's be fair. it hasn't exactly shined a light. It's just given kids a place to go and annoy the fuck out of people.
But it does.
Get
It
fat,
picks up.
you know.
It picks up a bit of through traffic. I do notice a hell of a lot of out of town travellers pulled up.
It does,
Yeah.
sure, but is it a game changer? Probably not.
Well, would that spend have occurred in Temora if
Previously, probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. What it has done is it's made it really hard. The best example of that was my wife and I were coming home on the long weekend, and it was the Monday of the long weekend, the one just recently gone in October. And she said, "What do you want for lunch?" And I said, "I just want an Aussie normal hamburger, like a hamburger with
proper
beetroot
hamburger.
and egg and bacon and proper,
Yep.
Just a fresh made, typical Australian cafe hamburger."
A real hamburger.
So we drove around Tumut, and would you believe nothing was open
I would believe that, yes.
on the long weekend Monday? So we ended up getting to Gundagai, and I remember seeing a sign on the highway saying, the Niagara Cafe, and I said, the Niagara Cafe will have a proper hamburger. Well, they did. It was only about $26.
Yeah.
It took an hour to get, and it was standing room only. I'm telling you, it must have been the only place open between Sydney and Melbourne.
Yeah.
Other than the chains.
Yeah.
And what's happened with the chain stores, your McDonald's and your Hungry Jacks and your KFCs and all these people, they've managed to out-hour the opposition.
Yeah.
The average mum and dad business can't pay the wages to run on a public holiday. McDonald's will.
Oh, look.
They're paying, McDonald's do it because they've got their model. They've dumbed it down to the point where they can run with almost borderline underage kids. They're working with the lowest paid humans in Australia.
Yep.
So even if they've got to pay these guys doubles, it's not. Because
it's such an efficient machine. It's nowhere near as efficient as it was 10 years ago. It's a fucking debacle these days. But once upon a time, McDonald's ran one of the most efficient food production, use the word food loosely, production machines on the planet.
Yes,
it was all about that system.
They hit peak McDonald's at a certain point in time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But a trained monkey could put that shit together.
Yes.
And that's what they use. As close to trained monkeys as they get because they're cheaper.
Yeah.
The quality is exactly the same. Everything's costs are down. The overheads are there. People go there because the consistency is there.
But even to the point that all of the products come from Central McDonald's.
Yeah.
So there's not even any.
They can't fuck it up.
No.
Heat it up, put it on there.
Yes.
And sometimes the cheese might not be as melted as it was on the last one. That's about the only fucking variable because some kids fuck that up. But it's not a game changer.
But it's really hard. Like I say, it's really hard for the average mum and dad business to compete with that.
They can't. Not possible.
So what's the single most important thing Temora Shire could do to support these opportunities?
Fuck off out of the way.
Look.
Simple.
Contain costs. Sensible planning with some strategic planning. Now, these are things we've spoken about heaps of times on this show. Things like a heavy vehicle bypass. This has been on the books for 20 or 30 years. We're no closer now than we were when they started thinking of it, but nothing sensible has been done in the meantime. In fact, silly things have been done because they've narrowed the main street and they've constricted the main street in the absence of a heavy vehicle bypass. So a smart person, a strategic person would go, okay, we want to put a heavy vehicle bypass in. We put the heavy vehicle bypass in. Now our street is more focused on the pedestrian consumer experience.
Yeah.
Al fresco dining and all the rest of it. Let's narrow the street up. Let's slow traffic down. Let's do it that way. But what they've done, though, they've done it the opposite way around. Without the heavy vehicle bypass, they're still trying to put trucks and stock crates and all these things straight up the middle of the street, but also trying to have so they're conflicted in their strategy.
Yeah.
So
the vision's pretty limited or pretty bouncy. It's all over the fucking
This is the thing. Go back to that proposal I put forward about the wetland and the ski run. No, at a very affordable sum of money.
Yes.
You could build it for $2 or $3 million.
Yeah.
Now, we spent $2 million on...
Codes of conduct.
No, we spent $2 million upgrading our pool.
Yes.
And making it 6 lanes to 8 lanes.
And nobody's allowed to use it, and all the kids are banned unless they've got a fucking adult, and that seems to be not going swimmingly.
Well, it is.
There seems to be a few holes in that process at the moment.
Well, they're trying to run it with limited staff to try and cut costs.
Sure.
But obviously with that...
Run it like Barm Edmund Pool.
Well...
Problem solved. Barm Edmund Pool runs fucking beautifully.
Okay. That's
Has anybody been to Barm Edmund Pool who goes, geez, that's the worst pool in Australia? It runs very well.
Well, but it's run with volunteers. They do keep the costs down as much as they can.
Well, no harm with making the Temora Pool run with volunteers.
No, but again, then there's this whole expectation of what people want and what people get.
Well, again, I've never seen anybody go at Barm Edmund Pool for a place of the size of Barm Edmund. Attracts a sizable crowd year round out there for when obviously the water's in.
Borrowings, $275. I knew it was in somewhere. Bear with me. I'll tell you exactly how much we spent on that pool upgrade. Not to build the pool from scratch.
No.
Swimming pool upgrade. There was a loan of $1.2 million. Now, that's interest rate of 3.29% because that came through T-Corp. Annual payments, $83,000 roughly. And the balance, it's got 20 years to run. It finishes in 2042.
At which point, we'll need to do it again because she'll be fucked by then.
Well, the thing is, though, I'm sure it was a $2 million project and that's what we borrowed. We had to contribute. Well, we got a grant some of it. That's right. We had to borrow the rest. And I'll tell you exactly. But value for money.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I'd be just turning it into a volunteer run. So fuck it. There you go. Happy days. You've saved a fortune. How much we're spending on that?
Back to strategic planning. So we've got to do something sensible about where we want our future industrial precincts to be, where we want our housing to be. We don't want to surround the town with these 5-acre blocks, so you've got no further room to expand. There's all these things. Where's the next school going? Where's the next hospital going? If we're going to increase by 50%, we're going to need minimum 2 more primary schools.
We just need to accept the fact that that's complete pie in the sky nonsense. Well, it's a complete waste of time and paying a consultant to fucking tell us that. I'll tell you that for free. Complete waste of fucking time aiming for a 50% population increase in Temora, unless you're absolutely, aiming for the machete-wielding crowd.
Well, but not even that. Unless you're going to support that with a massive government-led social engineering exercise, where it's basically grant funding that does it. And, take Temora Aviation Museum in the first instance.
Yeah.
Without someone of the means of David Lowy,
never have happened.
It wouldn't be here.
No, correct.
And that's the reality of it.
And that's the reality of all these little towns. Unless somebody with deep pockets is interested in investing in your town,
then
they're not going to. Why would they?
But we've got to invest in a town house. There's so many instances I see where local businesses aren't supported by council.
Mm.
And I think instead of growing capacity, we should be looking at every opportunity to purchase from within.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And I don't believe council does.
Council shouldn't be outsourcing anything that they literally do not have to.
Mm.
If there is a wazoo of a hope of somebody in town being supported.
People in town's money.
Yes.
They're spending the ratepayers' money then sending it out of town to support another business in another shire is stupid. But also, council have got an opportunity, and this is one thing I see with all the compliance and all the stuff that goes on. Council have got a role to play where they could support businesses to reach a bar or to introduce new services. So council could, to some extent, sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a cherry picker.
You did, yes.
I bought that before I was on council.
Yep.
And I bought that with a view to doing hire work.
Yep.
As well as using it for my own jobs. Would you believe Temora Shire Council have never, ever, 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 ever directly hired that machine?
Yeah.
Now, I invested $100,000.
Well, they do hire from Coates in Wagga, I would imagine.
There's often machines over here that come over from Kennards and Coates.
Yep.
But they've never once hired my cherry picker directly.
Yeah.
Now, there was a contractor who did an upgrade of some solar lighting at the soccer ground.
Yep.
And a contact from him came via council. Someone from council said, give this guy a ring. He's got a machine that might reach.
Yep.
And I was able to provide that service. And that, to some extent, I've done, in my opinion, what is expected of a business person in a small community to try and grow capacity. I've bought things that weren't already here.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a CNC flatbed router. There's no CNC flatbed routers in town.
Right.
I've got a wide format digital printer. There's no other wide format digital printers in town. I've got an EWP that'll go to that height. It's the only EWP in town that'll go to that height.
Yeah.
I bought a crane truck. You know, these are things that aren't here. The one thing that really does my head in a small town is someone sees someone doing okay out of something, so they go and buy one, and they go and buy one, and they go and buy, and all of a sudden you've got three people who are scratching
the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if people were sensible, if not sensible, but if people had some imagination, if instead of mimicking someone and being original, you'd have choice and you'd have more.
Yeah, more services and
more capacity. What Temora doesn't do well, to my mind, and look, Ed Krause, for years, I've taken product to Wagga to get powder coated.
Yeah.
Ed Krause has set up a powder coating plant. So now I'm taking my powder coating to Ed.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to do so. The product's good, the price is good, and it's supporting local jobs and local people.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so like we're only talking about a job I did recently for Trungley Hall Cemetery.
Yep.
Now, I bought the steel from Clevedon's. I fabricated that steel into the product, my workshop. Then I took it all out to Ed's. Ed powder coated it. Then when it came time to do the install, I went down to Matthews and I bought some rapid set to concrete it in.
Yep.
So out of that project, 3 local businesses, apart from my
Your own, took a drink from that project.
Well, that money spread through the community.
Yeah.
So if that job had have gone to another provider, then a powder coater somewhere else and a steel supplier somewhere else and a concrete supplier somewhere else would have got paid.
Yeah.
One thing I'm noticing with a lot of the houses being built around town, they're being built by outside builders.
Mm-hmm.
So when you've got an outside builder, more often they'll bring their own outside
contractors.
Yeah,
that's right.
All of a sudden, whilst council will sit there and say, look at what a great job we're doing, look at all this investment.
Yeah.
A lot of that money is exiting and it's not sticking.
Yeah.
So that's an area where we need to improve.
Yeah.
And I think there's a big role for Temora Shire Council to support capacity. I'll give you another example. I've always invested, like I've got as you know, a heap of PA equipment.
Yes, you do.
Now, I can't remember the last time Temora Shire Council engaged me to do a PA job.
That's because you're a troublemaker.
No, but I know, but I've gone to many, many functions that have been hosted by Temora Shire Council.
Yeah.
And the audio quality has been rubbish.
Yep.
But, you know, in spite of everything, they'll sit there and they'll refuse to support a local provider. They won't give you a baseline income or a baseline amount of jobs to allow you to grow that business and to develop that business and perhaps one day employ someone.
Yeah.
So they constrain. But even to the point that almost sometimes I find council goes into competition with other people.
Well, they've done that with the gyms.
They did. They actually did
We
exactly that.
did discuss that with the gyms.
I know council bought a heap of PA equipment on the premise to use it platform-wide. But then I've seen it rolled out at a lot of community events with volunteer operators. So all of a sudden, our rate money is going to provide our own competition at cut price rates.
Yes.
And you're going, what's wrong with this picture?
Well, another reason we should abolish rates.
Well, but this is the whole thing. Like, there's so many areas where council are actually giving themselves uppercuts because they're sitting there having these surveys of how do we grow the economy. Well, support the local economy.
Yeah.
There's so many areas where I could go and get, and I'll just give you
bloody hell.
An example.
Where are you off to? What have you found? Oh, I always get nervous when you break out folders. You know that, right?
You know, I've got a couple of folders hanging around.
Fucking hell, the folder king.
Well, here's a couple of interesting little gibs. I don't mind me throwing a bit of information at Quest.
I'm aware.
There's one here that I find really, really interesting in the context. Now, I'm going to declare that I know this person, and I'm going to declare that this individual's partner works with me.
Right.
But what I'm also going to say is this: there's a correspondence here where, in discussion with a council officer and an outside contractor, they basically opt not to give the local guy a go with a claim that he's probably not up to it.
Oh.
And then these two individuals proceed to fuck it up.
Oh, good.
So, and that's just in, Aussie lingo. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, of course.
Because this is this was a long, drawn out and protracted process.
Oh, I love drawn out protracted.
As you can see from the paperwork.
Oh, that scares the fuck out of me. Oh, well, I'd set fire to most of those folders. I can't do paperwork, it does my head in.
Would you believe, actually, no, that whole folder there.
Which one? There's 38 of them.
No, this one.
Oh.
This one's only about the NCAT part of it. This one is in the info. That's how, look, here's the info.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, I knew. Oh, what do I do? That was just the folder that had the NCAT paperwork.
Bloody hell, mate.
Here's the stuff that's the goodies.
Fucking hell.
Oh, God. They like their secrets, these kids. Oh, they like their secrets. I've been through and I've looked at every single one of these. Oh, gosh, I need to find. I should have taken.
Your willingness to do such things with such shite is admirable, but I can assure you there's not a chance in hell I'd be going through each one of those.
Was in this bundle of paper, I will guarantee there is a statement from a council officer in discussion with a professional service provider where they deem a local provider not up to it.
Not up to it.
they don't believe the guy's experienced enough yet.
Well, how do you think he's going to get some experience? And I tell you what, if you are a council, as in a shire council, and you do have a local provider who doesn't have enough experience, that is one way you can actually help your local economy, is by going, we're going to give you this job. Not only are we going to give you this job, we're going to give you a bit of leeway to get to where we think we'd like you to be. We would, I don't know, I'll assume that the bloke's, I don't know, starting at 25, started some sort of a business, and he's put in an application saying, I'd love to have a crack at this job. If you're the council and you're fair income, because let's be fair, you are pissing other people's money against the wall, saying to said young bloke, and I don't know anything about this particular circumstance, we'd love for you to become fucking amazing at this. We're going to give you an opportunity to build your experience up and use our projects to help you get there. We really love to see you fucking succeed in life, as opposed to, no, fuck it, we'll get somebody from Wagga.
Yeah, correct. That's, and let's just consider this.
Riddle me this, Batman.
Had council stuck to their original agreement with me and allowed me to do the upgrade of the audio and lighting at the town hall,
yes,
and had that been a moderate success, what could I have leveraged that into? This is like, let's look at, we know what happened. We've had 7 years of absolute disgusting, putrid filth.
Yeah, we've seen that one, yes.
And that's what's actually played out. We've seen a concerted campaign to destroy an individual, destroy his business, destroy his reputation, and just this negativity and this great putrid, just complete pile on.
Yeah.
That's what's happened. Let's just roll back and let's take the other path and just see what might have happened. Say the upgrade of the audio and lighting done by me and some friends of mine had have been a moderate success.
Yeah.
We could have rolled that into other projects in the community and other projects in the general area.
Yeah.
Our lives would be so much fuller and more positive. We'd be less cynical.
I'd be sitting here alone.
Well, you would, because I'd be happy. I'd probably be out on a contract somewhere, making friends.
I'd have to run the podcast by myself.
Making friends. Like I say, it's just and this is the whole thing, when a council does it wrong, it's wrong, so very wrong. And like, this is another example. Like, had they actually bankrolled that into something meaningful,
yeah,
it could have, and they had the opportunity, and it was only just a dog act where they breached their agreement, and basically just reneged on everything that they'd said over the past 7 years. That caused this great issue that we face now. And I'm sure, I said to someone just the other day, when it all blew up and I worked out what had gone on and how I'd been shafted, I was pretty upset. And I gave them the one time only best deal they're ever going to get.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you have shit on me, and if I really wanted to push this to the nth degree, I could take you to the cleaners. I want you to pay me for the work I've done to date, and I will walk away from this project.
Yeah.
I'm not happy, but that's the best deal you're going to get. And these stupid individuals thought they were going to be bullies, and they thought they were going to be smarter than that, and they thought they weren't going to pay that. Well, we all know how that ended.
So it's been going well.
Well, they paid it.
It's been going very well.
They paid it, and they've paid a lot more. And they're still paying. And we're paying. And you're paying. And you're paying. Thanks to those stupid people who just couldn't make a smart decision when it looked them in the eye. Anyway, can't help stupidity.
Can't put brains in statues.
Well,
it's a very, very challenging project, that.
Like I say, it's just this whole idea of how dumb can people be.
Well, That's a fairly good question. We saw a good indictment of that over the last 48 hours with a treaty down in Victoria. We've seen that in the last 24 hours with the Liberal Party deciding to debate, decide to go with no net zero, but with no conviction whatsoever. We've seen it time and time again. We've seen our law enforcement people hit the media up panicking about the cigarette excise, well, the volume of illegal cigarettes, and we don't even know how extreme this is. We can't count.
No,
because
I saw
a
report.
Is fucking moronic.
I saw a report yesterday that said that they've estimated that 25% of cigarette sales in Australia are excise free.
Yep, I believe that. I think that's probably an understatement, to be fair. But I don't blame people who want to go and buy it excise free. Why would you want to pay that sort of exorbitant fucking thieving tax bullshit?
But not even that. Who can?
Nobody can.
In the cost of living crisis that
nobody can.
we find ourselves in.
You know, and well, my phone blew up a little bit this morning with the libs and the net zero, because a lot of people who I guess are somewhat supportive of me are hoping and praying that the Liberal Party will, I don't know, develop a leader of some sort of fortitude who will restore Australia to, you know, it's sort of some sort of, well, it was a lucky country. Now our luck's run out and we're fucking hopeless.
Yes.
And I know that there's this feeling from a lot of people who tend to support my politics. A lot of them don't support quite how aggressive I am, but I don't really give a fuck. We've got enough spineless gits in politics. We don't need to add to that gang. What I learned from today, watching all the little interviews with all the Liberal Party people, and there's a couple in there I kind of like, a couple in there I've got a bit of time for, but overall what we learned is they're supposed to be currently the party in opposition in this country. They couldn't tie their fucking shoes. There's not one person in that room I'm going over a wall at Gallipoli with.
No.
They agreed to net zero because the polling told them and the numbers told them in their room that there was too many of those pesky bastards in there saying we want net zero or we're leaving the party. That's the only reason they did it. They didn't do it, go, right, as a group, as an organisation, we're supposed to be opposing this shit. It's one of our primary functions is to not feed bullshit and to stand up for Australia. And what they did was they did a heap of polls. They did a heap more fucking polls. They looked at the polls and fuck, we killed the elections. But if these 20 odd elected members we have quit the party, the Liberal Party ceases to exist, and then we'll never be in power again. Well, what are we going to do as an opposition? They didn't do anything that they've done in the last 48 hours that makes me go, you know what? Not that I'm a member of the Libertarians anymore, but fuck, they've shown the testicular fortitude required. Maybe I'll fucking get it and give them a hand. They did the opposite because there was just no fucking conviction in any of them. There was a little group going, we hate net zero. We think we need to get rid of it if we want to get re-elected. And the others go, we need to support net zero if we want to have any hope of getting re-elected. There was nothing in there about net zero as a fucking joke, and it's destroying the economic prosperity of this country, and we need to cut the bullshit. We need to take on Labor and be not Labor-like. We need to go, this needs to stop, this needs to stop. We need to bring this back. We need to reboot our coal-fired power stations. We need to get small modular reactors up and going in this country. We need to look at nuclear options. We need to remove all subsidies for all power elements. No green subsidies, no fucking fossil fuel subsidies. That may the best power provider win. And Australia should have the cheapest power prices in Australia, best served all around the whole damn country. Instead, what we got was flip-flopping fucking polls. If you need a poll to tell you what your beliefs are, you're not a fucking leader. You're a gutless wonder. And I didn't see anybody. Nobody. They're all talking about Hasty. I like Hasty better than I like some of them, but he's not a fucking leader. He flip-flops every 15 minutes. I hope he was far better at serving the military than what he's been in Parliament, because he hasn't shown anything that's made me go, he should be our Prime Minister.
I don't. Yeah, like I say,
We're stuck with fucking these Labor Party dickheads and elbow and coat for a decade. Unless something completely out of the books happens. It's not going to be the Liberal Nationals that are going to save this fucking country. Labor Party is going to do everything it can to run it into the ground. They are absolutely at the behest of the World Health Organization, the United Nations, fucking the World Economic Forum, and all these other globalist dickheads, and they are just bootlicking. There is no saving the country coming out of that little corner of the world. I don't think Pauline has a path to fixing it either. I think a strong crossbench is helpful, but I think we're in a lot of trouble until people start to wake up to themselves. If you're in that fucking room and you wanted to lead the Liberal Party, what you do is you come out and you say, I'm here as an elected member of the Liberal Party. I'm going to be the leader of the Liberal Party, and what's going to be happening is the following. When I'm the leader of the Liberal Party, I'm going to install this. We will tell the Paris Agreement to fuck off. We will forget about this net zero bullshit. While ever China's throwing up a million coal-fired, while ever they're doing what they're doing, India's doing what it's doing, the US is doing what it's doing, our footprint's 2/10 of fuck all. Let's build manufacturing in this country. Let's increase our, one of the things we didn't discuss earlier, how much we outsource our weapons manufacturing for our military. There's room there where a larger percentage of our military spend should be on building our own shit.
But how can we do that when we spend? What are we spending with AUKUS? Is it 300 billion?
And then we load up all of our steel and all of our iron ore, and we send it to fucking China, so they can turn it into bullets, so we can buy it back off them, just in case they attack us, so that we can fucking shoot them if they do attack us.
They might give us some for free.
It's you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking farcical.
Listen to this. This is, and call me mad, but this is the sort of approach that does my head in. Now, this is from two people responsible for a fairly major fuck up in a design. I'm not going to use the names. You can work that out for yourselves. But this has been released as a bugger it or will.
Up to you.
This is a publicly released document under a Freedom of Information request.
Okay.
A GIPA request. So
it's a public document. Fair enough.
So this is an email from a director at council, Mr. Chris Dunstan, who's the environmental director of environmental services. And he's talking to an architect who designed the Temora Town Hall. Now, it's been pretty widely circulated and understood and confirmed that when the town hall was built, the big curved access ramp at the front turns out to be non-compliant with disability access standards in the Australian standards and the current building code at the time it was built. So these two blokes
fucked it up.
One was Mr. Dunstan is on the plaque at the front of the building as the project officer, and Mr. Scobie is the architect, right? So if you wanted to pick two people who were responsible for the final designs, you could
they're your two key names.
They're your two key names. Now, this is a conversation. This is Chris Dunstan's statement. David, this is the bloke that I was considering helping to get us sorted with the working/engineering drawing for the town hall. He is a tree changer that moved here a couple of years ago. I have concerns that he is not experienced enough in commercial construction. He is apparently sending through some more information to allay my concerns. It's just that this is a high-profile project on a tight budget and I can't afford an experiment. Might discuss it more on Thursday next week. Thoughts with a question mark. Now, this has come through from the individual. Hi, Chris. We're pleased to provide you with the attached quotation to provide architectural and engineering drawings for the Temora Town Hall alterations. I've also attached our capability statement, which tells you about us and how we can help you. As you can see, I have hunted around, coerced and cajoled to get the pricing down from our first few price indications. When you are ready to proceed, simply sign and return the quotation, and once we have received a bank receipt as confirmation of your deposit, we'll allocate this project into our workflow ASAP. If you have any questions or require any additional information, don't hesitate to let me know. Hope you have a great day. Kind regards. Now, that sounds like an absolute amateur, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
He's going to provide a capability statement. He's got a quote. He's done his absolute best on the quote, and all he needs you to do is sign and accept that quote and pay the deposit, and he'll get to work straight away.
Yep.
So I don't know. Mr. Dunstan doesn't elaborate here. I have concerns that he is not experienced enough in commercial construction. Now, he's a tree changer. He moved here a couple of years ago. So I don't know what Chris is basing that on if he doesn't know what previous experience he has. However, I do know that when the town hall got built, there was a massive stuff up with the access.
But it's a high-profile project on a tight budget, and we can't afford an experiment.
No, but we can afford to.
We
can afford
completely that particular job.
And
these things happen.
Look, and they're still trying to figure out ways because it's still on. This is the one building in town that every single individual within the town should be able to access equitably. And it falls down in the most basic compliance in terms of access.
Yeah.
Now, even when you consider, and I'm not a smart guy by any stretch, but that building is on a sloping site.
Yeah.
And what these individuals have come up with as a design, the final design that came before, that's been built down there, they've actually put the entrance point at the point of greatest difference between the finished floor level inside and the ground level outside.
Yep.
Now, that could have been an elevated deck, and you could have stood there and, swanned around and patted each other on the back and told everyone how special you were.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have used that to your advantage. There's other areas on the site where you could have put the main entrance, and believe it or not, you could have transitioned from finished floor level inside to natural ground level outside with very little transition.
Yeah.
But that'd be too fucking sensible, wouldn't it? No. We need experts who know what they're doing to fuck it up properly for us.
Experts are very, very important in this day and age.
That's my interpretation of it. That's my opinion of it, because what we've got here is someone who's probably done very little commercial building work themselves, judging someone that they actually don't know their past history on, and carrying on and saying, we don't reckon he's up to the fucking job, and we'll go and fuck it up ourselves quite nicely. Thank you very much.
Fuck it up anyway.
Now,
bit wild, isn't it?
The thing is, though, I'm not shooting from the lip. You've seen that document?
It's here.
I read it word for word.
Yes.
It's been released under Freedom of Information under the GIPA Act. So if anyone would like a copy of that, I can provide it. But that's an indication of a council that isn't trying to promote local businesses. Even to that point, this guy might not have commercial building experience. Let's find out. And if so, let's give him what we can.
Yeah.
Let's try and bring this guy and bring him under this project and actually enhance his commercial building if he's a bit light on in that area.
Yeah, that's, and as I said before, that's what you would try and do. How do we get this guy involved? Because he may become the key local provider in this particular service, whatever is officially.
He might have been the bloke who just piped up in that one crucial meeting and said, hang on, this access isn't right. He might have been the one bloke in that key crucial meeting who said, why don't we put the stairs around there? Because we only need one step instead of 7 over here.
Yeah, he might have been the guy who undercharged to the point that you've saved the taxpayer $5,000.
Well, this is the whole thing. I remember, and this is the stupidity of, I'll tell you how stupid these projects can get. I was given, in my business as a sign writer, I was given a set of plans that I had to provide a quotation for the main front sign. And I looked at these line drawings, and they're black and white line drawings, right, with an indication, a little arrow saying what colour something's going to be and what colour something's going to be.
Yeah.
They're not a photographic rendering. They're a black and white line drawing anyway. So I looked at it and I considered it and I read it and I thought about it and I imagined it. And in my mind's eye, I had a picture of a dark grey letter sitting on a predominantly dark background.
Yep.
And being a sign writer, I know that in order to have good legibility in a sign, you need reasonable levels of contrast. And I didn't believe that existed with this current design.
Yep.
So when the principal contractor, I spoke to him about it, I said, look, there's a problem with this. I don't believe the colour's correct. I think the rest of it's okay. We can work around that, but I don't believe there's enough contrast. You're not going to read it.
Yep.
He said, look, if we went and corrected every fuck up in every plan, mate, we never build anything. He said, I just need a quote to take back and we'll work it out later. Okay, no worries. As luck would have it, when I was getting paid by Temora Shire Council for the debacle of not getting the job to upgrade the audio and lighting, I was in a meeting with the General Manager, Mr. Gary Lavelle. And Mr. Gary Lavelle asked me what projects I was working on for council. And I said, I'm actually working on a front sign for the town hall, Gary. And I believe there's some fundamental flaws in the design. And he said, oh, really? I said, yes, I believe the colour's wrong. And he said, oh, okay. I said, yeah, I think it's too dark. I don't think you're going to read it. So I've told the general manager, and I'm only a dumbass sign writer who's only been a sign writer since I was about 16, you know, that I don't reckon it's going to work that well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the general manager, of course, chooses to ignore that information.
Yeah.
So they build it. I built it to the spec. I said, are you sure you want it like this? And that, yep, 100%. So we built it like that. And guess what? The councillors walk out of the council chambers across the road to look at the town hall. And the first thing one of them says is, you can't read the sign. Well, duh. And duh again. So then council paid me to go
and fix the sign that you
and recolour the sign.
Could have advised the first time.
In a colour that I suggested. Now I could have done that the first time.
Yes.
It would have been so much easier to work together and trust each other and try and come together to try and get the best value
for the
ratepayers. But
yes.
No, we've got experts. These people have got university degrees. That's what worries me. That's really what
yeah. Look, there's no scarier quote from anybody than I'm from the government and I'm here to help. That's
well,
for sure.
And I've got a university degree, so I've got a piece of paper that says I know what I'm doing.
Yes. I've spent a lot of time at school after leaving school.
Yeah. And I've never done this before, but I know what I'm doing.
I've got a degree. Yes.
Okay, so
it's a bit wild, isn't it?
That's just a tidbit.
Now, you're never going to go to the gym just lifting all these folders and boxes, mate.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, you reckon I might be a bit autistic?
I reckon you're tarded, but you know,
because I knew that piece of paper was in there.
I mean, look, in saying that, I'm probably dripping with autism as well. To be fair, depending on something, ADHD, whatever, you know. Christ, I'm sure they come up with some sort of a label for it. There's a label for everything.
I ended up becoming a sign writer because people used to say, and I must have misheard them. I thought they were saying he's quite artistic, but I think they were saying he's quite autistic.
Could have been.
I just misinterpreted.
Yeah, possibly.
Now, look, I'll tell you the truth. One of my favourite jobs.
One of your favourite jobs?
I've done. Bit of a cramp. In the last couple of years, one of my favourite jobs I've done in the last couple of years is a truck over at Ganmain. Now, one of me buddy...
Now, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but if you've done the job for the truck in Ganmain, you're supposed to have the sign on the truck. It's not much to be here with us.
No. See, I'm pretty thorough. And I don't sell shit I can't deliver. And would you believe that's the mock-up? I was a bit rusty on the brushes, and I thought, you know what, I better knock one of these out and get my skills up before I rock out there. And you know what I mean? Just blow the cobwebs out and just get a bit of touch going in the fingers again. And
I can dig it, yeah, for sure.
But that's not a bad job for a bloody bloke from the bush, is it?
Oh, I can't do it, I can tell you.
Like, it's just a pretty little thing.
It's pretty flash. Well, I've got to get you to put some logos on my little trailer too
Yeah.
at some point. That I'll be using a local provider for my sign writing.
That'll be nice.
You'd be
Now
surprised to learn.
that one there is on an old International AB 160 that they refurbished. Did a really good, beautiful bare metal respray on it, and the Logan family have been great supporters of my business ever since I kicked off at Genmane.
Yeah, right.
And believe it or not, I've sign written their shop front 3 times now.
Yeah, okay.
At 15-year intervals.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So honestly, I did it early in my career. I did it 15 or 20 years ago, and then I've done it again recently, about 5 years ago.
Yeah, right. Very good.
And still doing, the odd nice job, and
the odd nice job.
When I say that, I mean that's
good quality work.
That's what you aspire to, and there's very few people like that was done. And look, again, that project was interesting because the spray painter panel beater is actually renting a shed off him.
Yeah,
and he's a Genmane guy too. So they've sent a pretty solid contract down to him to kick him along.
Yep.
And then when it's come time to put the signage on, they've remembered the relationship we've had, and they're like I say,
yeah.
There's no way knowing when I kicked off that Barry Logan, I wouldn't have been able to do that when.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was giving you a start because he wanted to give you a start.
Yeah, and he was one of these blokes who had a bit of an idea that you've got to show a bit of support to.
Well, you have to,
and grow businesses if you want to have businesses in that. And I won't say they're a patron because they've got their pound of flesh. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, for sure. But it's like mate of mine, Chris, and we talk fairly regularly about things. Not a local bloke, but we talk about it kind of regularly about trying to support people you like.
Yes.
Not so much necessarily local, but from our perspective is, we try to support people in their enterprise we like, and we support and we share the similar views, because if you don't, they're not going to be there. If you've got a mate that owns a cafe and you go in there and you ask for mates rates and you want to eat for free, and 6 months' time they're broke, good job, you've just fucked your mate over. But if you go in there, you take your friends in there, you recommend your friends, everybody pays full ticket, there's half a shot that your mate's cafe is going to do very well and they'll still be in business in 5 years' time. And that's the same for...
I remember when COVID was on. When COVID first hit, there was a little bit of a mindset there as to, do we hoard our cash? Do we not pay our bills?
Yeah.
And I said, bullshit. I said, if you ever needed to pay your bills promptly, it was now, because
everybody needs it. Everybody is panicking. Everybody's nervous.
We went the opposite, and we were paying invoices as they arrived.
Yeah.
And it was something we could do to
help those people out.
Yeah.
Really. Like I look at it, I mean, stage.
This will have to get.
I need to boot your camera back up. Sorry, guys, are we still there? Can you see? Don't know what happened there. The computer just popped up with, we've had an unexpected error and we need to close. So the computer just turned itself off. I love technology. When it works, it's amazing.
The camera's off, isn't it?
Your camera's off. Yeah, the good camera's off.
Oh, let's get that on.
You get that back up. Just so we can wind it up appropriately, of course.
On a bit of a roll.
Where we're going, all right.
We'll save in the whales. That should be the other camera.
All right, let's have a look. Not there yet. So love technology. There we go. Let us know if that's back and fire on all cylinders. Thank you. Fantastic. Cook a gas for a little bit. Get through the last couple of bobs before we wind up for the evening.
And that was the finished job.
Looks all right, doesn't it?
If I don't say this, it looks bloody unreal.
That's a pretty cool truck too.
Yeah, and like, you know, full cab off resto. Like Casey Uni did a great job. It was a really cracking job. Howard Martin at Logan and Hitchens, the boss over there, put a heap of time into it. And, yeah, look, it was just these are some of the old trucks that people used to probably drive, collect, and hire years ago. You know? So
Yeah, for sure.
That was a really good job to be involved in, but it was an example of. It was an example of someone spending money and not only getting a really product, they're also having
supporting somebody who they
wider effect. Now, another example of that, and this is another project I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
We were involved in the aviation restoration there, Dragonfly jet, the 837 Dragonfly. Now it's a Vietnam era jet that they did a full resto on at Temora, out at the Temora Aviation Museum. Part of their, and here it is here. Now, just let me find this photo and I'll get it up for starters.
You're about minutes, big man.
All right, here it comes.
So for those of you who don't know, this program works on a two-hour cycle if we want to do the cuts and the edits with me to sit there for hours. And I can assure you, don't have any extras in the day.
Craft, and that's taken over the Temora plane, bare metal respray on it. It had, they weren't brand new engines, they were fresh engines, a full suite of avionics through it. The ejection seats side by side, the ejection seats went back of it and the air got refit.
Yeah.
The painters come from Melbourne and they painted it with PPG aerospace paint.
Right.
No cost was spared within the realms of sensibility. They wanted to do a top-notch job.
Yep.
But a feather in and the end who was with me was integral inject. Single little notation, every little message on this plane went through a workshop.
Oh, righto. Cool.
That was hand painted, that was hand painted, that was hand painted, and there was some on the other side that got hand painted. When the project was finished, I said to Andy Bishop, I said, how does this plane measure up? He had no
hesitation. There was no thinking about it.
He said, "It's the
thing's
best."
shit hot.
But there's another example of a large caution local providers. Now, that's when you're winning. Like, they couldn't believe what they got, and they're so happy. But like, they got in every field. But here we were, the bumpkins, good enough. Well, of course we're good enough.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm sick and tired of this attitude of, oh, this bloke, he's a tree changer. I don't know whether he's up to it.
I don't know whether he's up to it.
Well, you weren't up to it, mate.
Yeah.
You know, and that's that. Anyway, that was one of those projects. So that one, they're just special projects where you really to stretch in terms of your skills.
Yeah.
I'll give you an idea, and you're into recipes being an ex-chef. The paint that they painted this thing in was a fairly satin or flat type finish. We wanted a hard, durable paint. So we got 2-pack paint, and 2-pack by nature has part A, which is the pigment, and part B, which is a catalyst.
Right.
So the catalyst, we got slow hardener, and then we got a slow thinner. So we had the paint with a slow thinner and a slow hardener to slow it down so we could brush it.
Yep.
Because usually you spray your 2-pack. So we were actually brushing the 2-pack.
And
then we also got a flatting base to actually take gloss out of it to bring it down to the sheen and match the sheen of the base.
Yeah, righto. Yeah.
So it was a pretty specialised brew.
Yep.
And even to the point that we went and colour matched it all, and yeah,
it's a project, and it's a serious project.
Yeah, but when you take that level of detail and you go to that, like I say, a lot of people wouldn't go to that much trouble to do a truck door.
No, fair enough too.
But when you do, the result you get is that bit better.
Yeah.
It's a bit more special. And the same as this. This thing came up, well, like I say, Andy wasn't bullshitting.
No, and is it still in town?
Yeah.
Get out there and have a look. Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's just another one of those.
Burn up, critic.
But I get sick and tired of people who don't.
Fair.
Particularly when those locals have got the goods.
And there are some talented people come out of this little show. Don't worry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just on the 1 hour and 59-minute mark. which means technically speaking, from a technical standpoint, we have to wind the show up. Otherwise, I have to do extra editing, and I'm not doing it. I'm telling you, I'm not doing it. I love you all dearly. Even those of you who hate my guts, still love you. Makes my day interesting. Tune in next week, 7:30 on Thursday, unless some, colossal reason to change happens. Hope everyone has a great week. Thanks you all for tuning in. You're all fantastic legends. Talk soon.